with that, have you decided where you want to go and who you want to speak to?
Yes, we have. Gabriel is gonna go and reconnect with an old acquaintance of his, Aaron.
Absolutely. So you're gathering intel at this point. I'm going to say, make me a check, please.
All right. Okay. Can I... Ooh, that's not my character sheet. I was like, wait a second. Since I've worked with Aaron in the past, can I make an argument for consort?
Absolutely.
All right, and since I'm gathering information, that's an extra die. Boop.
Oh. Okay, so yes, you arrive at the making your own way from here into Char Hollow, where Lottie was not several hours previously. You make your way to what are we going to call this place? The Everpenny Family Butchers. Everpenny is not Erin's name; it's just one of the many fronts that operate under the Blue Coats. And as you make your way in, the store itself has stayed open a little bit later than your where your safe house is located, and you go in and you are greeted by the heavy thud of a cleaver coming down on an eel. As Erin looks up, hands covered in blood, and she's just cutting these big chunk sliced steaks of this eel's body. As she looks up at you, sort of wipes it off on her apron.
I often wondered if you'd ever darken my doorstep again. Well, here we are.
Here we are.
Slams the cleaver down into the wood block.
Yes, here we are again. I'm in need of a bit of information. And your associates that spoke with my associate referred to Her Highness, so I figured you were the best one to come to. Figured they were working underneath you rather than your... Oh, let's just leave him where he should belong. Nowhere in the histories.
As you, that absolute, and as she says the next word, there's a jingle as the little bell above the door closes, thus somewhat censoring her.
He stays in the docks, I stay in Char Hollow. At the moment, it's all amicable, isn't it?
Gabriel kind of, moves his head left and right as if he's tossing the idea around, and he goes, I mean, still sometimes the docks end up upwind, so you have to smell the stink.
So, you want information?
Yes, your... goons, lackeys, henchmen, whatever term suits you best, recently conducted a job. Where are we in Char Hollow?
You would be in the Knackers.
So, south of here, in Saltpire. There was a job that had a little bit of hired help. Let's just put it like that. I'm not necessarily interested in your people. I'm interested in the hired help.
Oh, well, we work together from time to time.
I've heard the same thing. How does one get a hold of this man? I mean, if it were as easy as me walking in here and talking to you, I doubt there would be as many wanted posters up for him.
Of course not. There's one really easy way. Easier than anything else. So simple, it's brilliant. Be me.
We all can't be you.
Ain't that a fact? Fact is, and I'm sure this is no surprise to you, that job went south.
Yes, I've caught bits and pieces of that.
Well, it's supposed to be a simple smash and grab. Well, had some additional problems, let's say. One of the well-to-do, one of the inspectors, decided that he's taken disliking to my little thing that I've got going so beautifully here.
Ooh, inspectors.
Catches wind of this.
Very notoriously hard to dissuade.
Some would say morally upright.
As if there's such a thing here.
Well, apparently there is, and apparently his name is Inspector Renton.
Renton? Is that a name that rings bells?
Not likely.
Somebody says a name that I don't know. Gabriel raises an eyebrow. Color me intrigued.
Like I say, he's taken a personal dislike, decided that he's going to make it his life's mission to undo everything that I've tried to build up, and with that, caused me no end of problems.
Gabriel crosses his arms and taps his foot as he thinks for a second. Also, do you know anything about the package that you were smashing and grabbing?
Just been told it's been moved. Very influential figure, someone that I've had dealings with in the past, only on a small scale. I think it's one of those how do you do relationships, second cousin twice removed, father's mother's second oldest sister's aunt type of thing. Anyway, I worked with part of her family's, and she was put in contact with me.
Yeah, I don't know much about the inspectors. How easy are they to get a hold of?
Well, for the likes of us, tricky at best. But if you're offering, and potentially, if words to be believed, you've changed your approach to the game.
Gabriel kind of will not even chuckle. He laughs and he goes, no and yes. So very much no, though.
Right answer. Because what I've got in mind Well, leave him alive. That's all I ask. She runs her sort of 2 fingers over the handle of that cleaver that now sits wedged at an angle in the chopping block.
Gabriel kind of nods and turns to make sure the door is completely sealed and locks it as he goes and sits down and has a very private discussion with Aaron.
You flip the sign around so it says closed, and you go out to the back, which is a cool salt room where piles of fish just kind of sit on various wooden tables, all salted, and reminds you of the last time you were your last score. But fortunately, this time the smell is in the air and not clinging to you.
Plus, this fish is relatively salted, so it has a different.
Yeah. And as you talk for the next hour or so, we will jump over to Lottie. Where are you going?
Lottie is going to try first to get in contact with one of Omen's friends.
Oh, okay.
Which named Quillin. And
Okay.
see if she can help them to get in further contact with Miss Faye.
Absolutely. So I'm going to say make me a check.
I'm going to make a consult check. I'm going to push myself on this.
Okay, so you take another die. And what's
5.
5? Okay. You are able to track a location, after a brief conversation with Omen, to a very, very unassuming little corner of Barrowcleft, the agricultural district. So going right down to the south of the district, where it begins to, you can just about make out the silhouette of Iron Hook Prison, and right down in the south in Honey Hill. There's multiple houses built up in layers, and they all stand in terraces. And as you make your way through the district, you notice that everyone here is likely the residents here likely are employees of the Radiant Energy Farms. These fields that grow under the glow of radiant plants, which themselves exude light and provides fairly staple cereal crops, mainly to Dusk, but some are shipped out to the Empire at large. So I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I'm just going to try to find Miss Quillin.
So you go into one of these buildings in Honey Hill, the one that you have been directed to, and making your way up the stairs, you find a very, very distinctive doorway. Most of them are not identified by simple numbers, mostly made out of either wood carved from wood, or in some instances slightly old bits of iron which have been. This door, however, doesn't have a number and sits about halfway up the building and has a very distinct, what looks to be Leviathan bone trinket hanging off the door. You notice that also various sigils and runes have been carved into the door, very roughly into the wood.
Okay, so we are going to be very polite with that lady, and I'm gonna knock and see if somebody answer.
And before you do, just as you go to, your knuckles go to touch the door clicks open.
Cool. And go in very slowly. Hello?
No response, but a small electroplasmic lantern which has been set up in the little corridor just comes to life.
Going to walk in the corridor and try to find my way, and if I can see anybody.
There's two doors in here, one straight ahead of you and one to the left.
What do they look like?
Plain, unpainted wood.
Oh. No sigil, no weird bones.
There's things attached to the walls, as well as several paintings which have looked to have been adjusted. You notice that one of them, which depicts one of the old forgotten gods, has had the face of said demon has been painted over with a very crude black brushwork skull.
Going to the door, which is the nearest the painting.
Okay, so that's the door straight ahead of you, and opening that up, you see a room which is illuminated predominantly by candle, which these candles which have just been set up rather arbitrarily and probably not enough to fully illuminate the room itself. They stand on piles of books. There's a couple on the windowsill. There's one an old dresser which itself hasn't been opened for looks like years, with the amount of cobwebs that sit in the joint. And a voice from behind you. What brings you here? So that's what that feels like.
Yeah? Okay, Gabriel, I'm not doing that anymore. I slowly turn on myself.
And as you do, you see a woman with black hair, slightly unkempt, kind of hangs down long, almost reaching her waist, in a lace high collared shirt and a fairly ill-fitting black velvet jacket. And then her fingers adorned with multiple rings. You can see a lot of them look to be made by herself. Again, those tiny shards of Leviathan bone sticking out of them at slightly awkward angles. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm very sorry to bother you, my lady. I came here with the recommendation from a friend of mine. His name is Omen. Maybe you've heard of him. And I would hope to find some help from you for from some sort of problem that I have. If I can ask for a little bit of your time.
She indicates for you to go into the room. And as your eyes adjust to the semi-darkness, you look around and you see there's an old couch as she takes a seat in a equally old armchair. The sleeves, you can see like the covers been burned in a few places, and the stuffing is beginning to pop out. And the fabric itself, it looks fairly threadbare in multiple spots. As she sits down, and then looks around, and you see that at this point the room is illuminated by it's just those 3 candles that's giving you all the light. So ask your questions.
In need to organize a meeting with. I know she's a witch named Vey. Probably heard of her. It's something that I can't really do without, and I know her by reputation, and I know it's a very bad idea to try to have a talk with her in her own home. And I was hoping to gather some help to simply organize a meeting somewhere else, somewhere neutral. But as you can probably tell, I'm not very. Let's just say, I know it's not my place to be. I don't really deal with the occult and the supernatural. And yes, I was simply hoping that maybe you could help with contacting this lady.
And with that, one of the candles snuffs out.
I can see that something is done, of course. Questions remain.
Sorry?
Lottie just, yeah, I'm listening. And she's standing there. She isn't sitting in the couch, she's just sitting there, standing there very awkwardly, like, I don't want to be here.
Nothing else that you want?
Nope. Not ma'am. Just sending Omen's best regard, I guess.
Very well.
And the other 2 candles go and plunge the room into darkness for a moment. There's and a moment later the candles light once again, and you just see that there's now, she's gone, and 4 very large ravens now perch at various points around the room.
Why? Lottie's speaking out loud, like, do I have to stay here? Or do we...
The door is literally, the door's closed, but it's lit right behind you.
The door is closed?
Yes.
So I have to wait here. Awesome.
You don't have to wait. She seems to be gone. There's just this go from the supporting rafters above you.
Just need to try to give him a scratch under the chin.
Reaching, it's one of them goes down for a moment, kind of lowers its cranes its neck forward, sort of able to just kind of reach under its beak. It does, and it sort of takes it for a moment, and then just you're able to pull your hand away just as it pecks forward. Just seems to be a normal semi-feral raven.
if I understand correctly, I'm supposed to stay here waiting for her to return, or does she want me to go and she will contact me later?
Likely, probably leave, and these things tend to speaking to Omen as well. You know that these things tend to work out in very strange ways that almost seem to be too much of a coincidence.
Okay, I'm still going to leave a coin on the table, whatever flat surface I can find.
Okay, yeah.
Really don't want to offend her in any way, so I'm just going to leave.
And it's on opening that door again, you step out back into the main stairwell of the building. You seem to have completely missed that corridor for the second when you left.
That's definitely quicker. And I'm going to leave the building as fast as I can.
So as you
too afraid.
as you turn around as well, so you walk to the left where the stairs go back down, and as you turn back around yourself to go backstairs, you look back towards the door and see that it has now just been replaced with a number 4. The whalebone charm, the Leviathan bone charm has gone. The scratches on the door have gone. And with a
fine.
And as you hastily make your way out of the building, Gabriel.
Well, that was a productive conversation.
Erin finishes the drink that she got for both of you. It tastes disgusting, but there's Leviathan blood in it, so it's got a real kick.
And you'll be hearing from me. Or, well, maybe not from me, but you'll know. I'll make sure of it.
To hear it, and like I say, if you do fancy going up against the good Inspector Renson, then, like I say, leave something for me.
Oh, I wouldn't dare stopping you from having your day.
I know.
With that, Gabriel's gonna stand up, blink a little bit because Leviathan blood alcohol, and make his way out. Well, or at least attempt to.
Absolutely. There's a little stumble along the way, and as you step out into the back into the rainy night air, slightly cold air as well is slightly sobering, and you find your head clearing somewhat, at least.
At this point, having discussed... So, outside of the information with the inspector, was there any other information that was forthcoming?
Yes, obviously there's the... she told you more about Verity Lutis, who is a very, very... The Lutis family being quite influential. Nothing on the levels of those on the city council or... like Beaumont's, the Clellans, all that, but certainly enough weight and enough family history that they can do what they like and kind of get away with it.
So, just to equate it to something Gabriel would understand, Aramina's level, or above Aramina.
I mean, wealth-wise, they're white. They're still in White Crown.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, certainly very, very wealthy family, but they tend to, a lot of their own interests are legitimate, but they certainly dabble, as many do in that circle. They utilize crime when it suits their interests.
All right. Well, with that bit of information, I am going to head to the agreed upon location to meet up with Lottie to share information.
And do you have anywhere in mind, or?
This
Or
would.
do you want to go to the?
This would.
Do you want to go to? Oh,
I was gonna say this would
Go.
probably be our place, our apartment, whatever
okay.
it is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's as you make your way down, or back up from, and through the Rookery and back towards the corner on Flint Street where you have your hideout. There is someone else waiting for you. A woman in her late 40s, Eruvian, wearing a bandana from which multiple coins and small trinkets have kind of been attached, put up inside the fabric. So you've kind of got these coin beads that runs over one eye. And a very distinctive red sash around her waist.
I give her a nod and very politely, "Oh, what do I owe the pleasure?"
We haven't met formally, but my name is Mylera.
You know the name. She runs the Red Sashes.
Okay.
Yes. And word is you've been making plays. That's fine. We all make our way in this world one way or another.
I assure you, I have not targeted any of your people.
No, I know. I would have visited sooner if you had.
All right. Continue.
It's duskfall. Money flows up.
She indicates the Red Sash Sword Academy, which pretty much sits on your doorstep. And
You run here? We just want something. Call it a tribute.
Gabriel thinks for a second. Now, you wouldn't happen to be double dipping here, now would you?
in terms of,
Well, we don't.
sorry, this out of character.
Yeah, no, we don't own that building. Realistically, I would think she wouldn't be necessarily. Generally speaking, she'd be going after the building owner for the tribute, not the individual tenants. So, if she's going after the tenants, she would be double dipping.
Right. I don't think the legalities of charging gangs and criminal outfits really factors into it.
It's not legality here. It is somewhat of a faux pas that would anger a lot of people. Because it's understood in those areas that they're already paying because they're paying.
She pays for her lying seances. You pay to talk people out of their money.
And I assume if I refuse, I either have maybe the customary 2 minutes to get my stuff and get out, or I can set my head down on this curb and let you stomp me.
I'm not a lampblack, I am not a billhawk.
He's gesturing for her that what would she like to do?
Probably knowing the red sashes, it would be death by multiple lacerations with an incredibly finely crafted sword, saber, scimitar type, sometimes sickle. Choose your poison.
Tell you what. This is our first meeting. And he produces one of his most favorite items. A bottle of fine whiskey. And he does, offer it to her.
She takes the
Go ahead.
takes the bottle, holds it up, pops the cork. A little bit of a sniff. Peruvian brandy is better, but it will do.
I will keep that in mind. And he does say, but don't worry. I don't expect him paying in alcohol every time. Just obviously with this being our first meeting, I hope it suffices to say to a working relationship here. Money flows up. However, money can also flow both ways. Should you need something from somebody, don't hesitate.
Likewise. And she indicates two figures nearby who are, until this point, have gone unnoticed. One looks to be a red sash themselves, as they as you look up and you see one of them sat on the rooftop, the sash kind of catching in the breeze a little bit round his waist. The other one looks to probably be an initiate, who is a very, very lithe girl, probably late teens. If you ever need eyes.
Gabriel.
Brooks.
Gabriel kind of nods, and he goes, "Much obliged."
As she takes a swig of the whiskey, hands the bottle back to you. To an ongoing relationship.
Gabriel knocks it back.
Oh, that sits well with the Leviathan blood stuff.
Oh yes, mixing alcohol. I'm sure that's a wonderful idea here. And nods his head.
And she takes back the bottle and kind of acknowledges the two rooks who have, as she makes her way down the street, disappearing into the fog and back towards the Red Sash Sword Academy.
I make a nod, if letting them know if they want to join in. We're gonna be talking about some juicy stuff. That head nod of like, you guys should probably come on in.
Absolutely. They take a few moments, and then as you unlock the door, it's the girl that's there first, Aruvian herself, but it's pretty much just under a hood, and then a cowl which is kind of slipped under her under her mouth. You wait a moment, and then the man makes an appearance, and takes a little bit longer as he much more kind of audaciously and obviously walks around the corner. You see that there's a sickle knife that's been tucked into the sash. And as you open up the door, they follow you inside.
And if Lottie's not there, we wait. If she is, we begin sharing information.
Lottie takes probably a little bit longer coming back from Barrowcleft and being that little bit further away. But in the meantime, you introduce yourself to Tabitha and Cassian.
Tabitha and Cassian.
Incidentally, the extra coin is because you ranked up. Your as a crew, you went up in tier. Your hides go up with that, so it's tier +1. So there is a mechanical reason for doing that.
Okay.
And yeah, it's roughly about half an hour before Lottie rejoins you.
Gabriel makes a very quick introduction as soon as Lottie comes in. Not waiting even for her to basically let go of the door. And so, how was your discussion with the witch? Spooky?
Yeah, can say that. I think she accepted to help. I'm not sure. It looked like it.
You can never tell with these occult people.
Yeah.
So, I guess we wait for 3 knuckles to show up on our doorstep that point in a direction that we have to head, and the knuckles are metaphors for... And then Gabriel kind of trails off, having completely lost where he was going with it.
I just hope that the knuckles would be attached to something.
I don't know, I think I would rather just find knuckles lying on the ground rather than them attached to said body or something like that. I feel like that might be more problematic. I don't think I want a whole dead body at our doorstep. He looks over at the 2 new people with his finger going, talking to you, nobodies. Knowing full well that he's gonna end up laying out a body.
It's they kind of, they speak together, but they kind of do like that that thing of finishing each other's sentences. So it's Cassian who goes, just eyes, and then Tabitha is, and ears.
Eyes and ears, got it. We know what to look for then.
Figuratively, not literally.
Gabriel kind of smiles. So, I guess it's time to head to Night Market.
As those two, it's Cassian leaves for the evening with you and kind of bids you farewell and heads south, looking to probably go further into Crowsfoot. Tabitha stays behind as you make your journey east into Night Market. What do the two of you want to do there?
Gabriel's under the assumption that he has a little bit of knowledge of how this occult stuff works. Not much that he would like to discuss at the moment, but he figures being closer to the person they really need to talk to will expedite the situation. Either somebody will approach them, Vey herself will approach them, a building will fall down on somebody and then force them to go in a specific direction, and then somebody shoulder checks Vey, just any weird set of circumstances. It's good to be in the area.
Absolutely. You find yourselves waiting. The hours roll by, the streets become more and more deserted, businesses close up for the night. The last few devotees of the Weeping Lady finish up their prayers of the evening, leaving gifts and requests on little notes at the foot of the various statues that surround the districts. And then in the very, very early hours of the morning, the electroplasmic street lighting goes out. And in the darkness, through the fog, you hear a single set of footsteps.
I lean over to Lottie, I'm like, this is how we die.
As with the one set of footsteps, three figures come out of the fog.
I with the three figures, I lean back over. Correction. This is how we get possessed.
They make their way towards you, and you notice that despite the night breeze, they who stands between the other two figures that accompany her, none of them seem to be disturbed by the breeze. Vey, who remains unmasked, you can see blonde hair that hangs out from underneath her hood, but it doesn't sway, it doesn't catch the wind. And all three of them in black robes, again, none of it moves the way it should. While the other two figures who approach they seem to have a lace black veil that hangs down over the front of the hood, and underneath a featureless white mask with the sole exception of a black teardrop that runs down from the left-hand eye, or the right-hand eye rather. And all three turn in unison to look at you.
I look over at Lottie like that look of like, yep, here we go.
To walk up to them and just not too close, just to greet them with the bow of her head.
It's the two masked figures that speak at the same time, and it's you search us out. You speak to those that steal from us.
Yeah, indeed. And if you came, I assume it's because you seek revenge and you think that we could help.
As the two sisters fall back into silence again, it's Vey who says, "And how would you help?"
Well, first I think retrieving what you lost would be, I think you would like that, and we could also bring you the person, at least one of the person responsible for this. On that, our goal aligned.
The head of the serpent.
Gabriel kind of smirks at that.
Who would you bring?
A man who is responsible for a lot of misery in this city.
We do not want the man. We do not want the man. He is inconsequential. But the one who stole from us. Shall she be a sister herself?
The person who committed the thievery, right? That's
It's the one, yeah.
whatever lady, yes.
Once that confirmation is made, Gabriel kind of gives a little bit of a sigh of relief, because there was a moment there that he thought they were asking for Aaron, and he was like, oh, no.
Oh, it's you notice as well as you hold this conversation that the fog around you seems to be growing thicker and thicker until it just encloses into this very small area where the five of you now stand. And should you deliver, well, we have a wealth of secrets that you could do well to know. Cursed one. And the fog rolls in, and as it becomes really, really thick, you can only see a few inches in front of your eyes. You can just about make out the hazy forms of the three of them, which seem to be dissipating almost as they take their own leave. And then as quickly as it rolled in, it rolls back out, and there's a flicker from the lights above you as the streetlight returns, and the three of them are gone.
You have just finished listening to this week's episode of Blades in the Dark, What Happens in the Dusk, part of the Domain Gaming, written and told by Wyverian and Livespark. A special thanks to you, the listener, and if you wish to continue supporting us, subscribe, like, and share. As always, comments are welcome. Until the next chapter, remember the first rule of a con. Offer them everything for nothing, and give them nothing for everything.